Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? Roxstars, first story up, we're gonna hit the politics first, okay? Because they tried to get your boy the other day and they still continue to miss. I was like, who the fuck is these people shooting at this man? No, let me not be that way. I don't want to see anybody get shot and killed, including YSAP. That's a nasty taste in my mouth. But yeah, you guys, they say this time YSAP was at his golf club in West Palm Beach, Florida, enjoying a leisurely day out on the greens, and it was Sunday afternoon, and some man, I forgot to get his fucking name, you guys. This man somehow ended up on the premises while the former president of the United States is just carousing the damn golf course all willy-nilly. This man was able to not only get on the golf course, but he was on the golf course with all this ammunition, backpack, camera, and AK-47 style type rifles, like an assault rifle. He was able to get onto the course just a couple of holes up from where YSAP was about to pass through. He trained his assault rifle through the hedges of that line, the golf course, I guess. And one of the Secret Service men, you know, on the job, they saw it, they shot at him, he dropped the rifle and ran. Okay, they ended up catching him a couple of counties over or whatever. I don't know how this man is able to get that far fucking away from the golf course. It's like, what the hell is the Secret Service doing anyway? I know the Secret Service is irritated because the Secret Service is looking worse and worse, having to deal with YSAP when I feel like it's a fucking scheme that Todd set up. Now, the first time this man got shot, I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but this second time, I just cannot understand how these things continue to conveniently happen to him. I don't believe it. I believe it was set up. I believe for sure, you know, because they caught the guy. We got a picture of him. His mugshot is out. You know, he's smiling all big and bright. Immediately afterwards, YSAP was on on social media talking about how another attempt was on his life. There was no attempt really technically on his life because he hadn't made it up the green up to where this man was. The man did not even take a shot at him, okay? But Donald Trump, being the man that he is now telling people that he's been shot at again. And get this, he has decided to blame the Biden and the Harris administration and saying that their negative rhetoric about him that they continue to spew is the reason why people keep trying to shoot at him. I was just like, this is a fucking mess here. You know, I feel like the people on YSAP's team must have studied the beef that 50 Cent and Ja Rule used to have against each other, because it's the same shit. They gaslighting us and trying to get us to think a different way. The same way that 50 Cent used to ride Ja Rule incessantly about him singing in his songs, only for 50 Cent to turn around and do the exact same thing in his own songs. He had then did the Jedi mind trick on us and had us thinking, you know, after a while, people started teasing Ja Rule about singing in his songs when 50 Cent does the same thing. It's like the same situation here. YSAP is trying to convince us that the Biden administration are the ones that talk negatively, the ones that keep this chaos going, the ones that are always speaking down and ill of the other side. And I'm just like, YSAP is... I don't even know how he says these things without laughing, because he has to know that he is the reason. He is the one that does those things. He calls Kamala Harris an idiot, dumb as a bag of rocks, okay? He talks about Biden, the fact that he's old and feeble and he can't do this and he can't do this. The man is a couple of years older than YSAP, okay? He really believes, or he actually loves to get that his base worked up to believing that the other side is the problem when it's really him. And I just am just floored about it every single time. He goes on and on about how they're destroying the country, you know, and that he's this good person and he's going to be the one to save the country. And it's amazing to me. It obviously works on his base. His base believes in him 100%. But I still don't understand why there are people who I have looked at in the past and thought that they had regular good sense. And now you're starting to find out that they even support YSAP. It's just like, you think that this chaos is the bullshit? This nigga is the agent of chaos. This is what you guys think that we should be, how we should be living our lives for the next 4 years and potentially even longer than that, because the man ain't even gonna try to get his ass up out of that office, right? Yeah, it's wild. It's wild times out there. But yeah, you guys, I absolutely do not believe that somebody credible was about to try to shoot at him. Okay, 9 weeks later, and they trying that shit again. And then we had it was like, looking at social media the last few days, I just been like, what the hell is going on? Between YSAP saying that he hate Taylor Swift, and then Elon Musk saying, well, ain't nobody tried to shoot Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. And then Elon Musk also saying, okay, you know what, Taylor Swift, I'll give you a baby and feed your cats, or whatever he said. Like, what is happening here? I just really want somebody who is a YSAP supporter and also a rock star. I don't know how it happens, but there are a few of you out there like that. I want you guys to explain to me the moves that you guys as leader makes, because it just will never make sense to me. I just don't understand how people support that man. He is an embarrassment. Okay, I'm not gonna preach to y'all today. I'm not gonna preach to y'all today. But yeah, this shooting and him trying to make himself, I said he is trying to swing the momentum back around. You guys remember in Two Can Play That Game? And remember when she was talking about the transference of energy? Okay, that's what happened with the first time that he got shot. That swayed everybody, not everybody, but that swayed a lot of people over to his side. Like, oh my God, you know, this man is being shot at. He's just trying to be, you know, the president of the United States. He's just trying to make things better. You know, people were starting to feel sorry for him and all that. Then when Biden dropped out and Harris became the presidential, you know, the representative for the Democratic Party, that is when the energy swung over to her side. And it has been over there ever since. Yes, the fervor has died down a little bit, but still the momentum is still pushing Harris forward. Not so much for YSAP. So now YSAP, I believe, is trying to get that momentum back over on his side. So hey, let's try getting shot at again. You know, the people really feel sorry for me. Well, it's just like, yeah, that's not gonna, we ain't buying that shit this time. I mean, the bullets didn't even fly. So what is all this about? You know, and then them putting targets on Taylor Swift's back, on the Biden, you know, and Harris administration back. Like, him saying those things is just, child. I'm so sick of talking about YSAP. I just want you guys to make sure that you vote in November. Okay? That's all it is. That's all it needs to be, y'all. Next story. All right, you guys, let's get a update on the Shannon Sharpe situation, because a lot of shit has happened since last week. So you guys know the unfortunate tape of the audio, I should say, of Shannon Sharpe, you know, having sex with his lovely lady Michelle. It had leaked on Instagram. It didn't leak. He went accidentally live on Instagram. We all saw it. Okay. Afterwards, there was a lot of conversation on whether or not it was done on purpose or not. And I still have a lot of questions about that. Like, how is it that you accidentally go live? Not saying that it's not possible, but it is just it's very odd that it would happen. But then the logical side of me is like, Roxanne, this man can't be stupid enough to put his money on the line like this. You know, you don't just work for anybody. You work for Disney at the end of the day, which is, you know, we know that, sorry y'all, this wig a little tight on the ear today. We know that Disney they, lack of better words, they don't play that shit. All right. And they have fired people for less actions. Let's talk about Paul Pierce, because that's what everybody wants to talk about. We know that Shannon Sharpe is on ESPN on, what's the name of his show? Undisputed? Is that the show that he's on? I don't remember the name. Okay. And so we know that ESPN is owned by Disney and all of that. We also know that when Paul Pierce was a commentator for ESPN, he got fired because he had a party on his day off in the quiet of his own home with his homeboys. They had a bunch of strippers or girls, you know, loosely dressed, barely scantily clad type of girls dancing around. You know, he's smoking weed, they dancing around, booties all in the camera, on his lap, doing all that. And he went on purpose live on Instagram. And when ESPN saw that, they fired him because they said that that was against their like morality clause and the things that how they want their employees to represent the company. Well, honey, I know all this panting and shit that Shannon Sharpe and this Michelle girl was doing had to have gone against Disney's morality clause. However, the difference is Paul Pierce purposely put that information up on Instagram Live. Shannon Sharpe did not. Shannon Sharpe's was an accident. At least that's the way that he explained it to ESPN, and apparently they bought it. And so he is now holding on to his job. But I was watching on social media, and it was amazing because people were really upset and saying that if Paul Pierce got fired, then Shannon Sharpe should too. And I was just like, why are y'all trying to get this man fired? Okay? I mean, is it because they believe that Shannon Sharpe is lying about it and feeling like he should pay for it? I mean, if he did do it by accident, I too thought that he was going to get fired. I was pretty sure that he was going to get fired, but the fact that, you know, he did it on accident, this was not something that he brazenly wanted to put up on social media. You know, they was like, we're going to give him another chance. Now, I will say that I think that Disney is not going to be playing no fucking games with Shannon Sharpe no more, and he is floating on thin ice. Okay, they probably like, listen, we can't take too many more of these viral moments. All right, so you need to straighten up and fly right, because I think that if there's ever any other mishap, and even if the pressure continues to grow from him not getting fired this time, you know, he still might be out of a job. But so far they're saying that they shouldn't. But I was just like, y'all stop trying to get that man fired. Stop trying to get this man. That's his livelihood. Let that man work, you know. I do believe that it was an accident, because I just can't see anybody purposely putting their good money on the line. But now we've got all kind of shit coming out. Somebody sent me a video of apparently Shannon Sharpe has an old stylist that he fired who is, you know, somewhat of a flamboyant gay guy apparently. And that guy is insinuating now that there was something behind his firing. Maybe Shannon Sharpe wanting to get distance from him, and making it seem like there might have been something more than just a professional relationship as a stylist and a client. So there's that. I don't know the guy's name, but yeah, there's other stuff that's going around as well. And I'm just like, boy, I tell you, it's a rough road out there. Folks will come out and sure enough shoot you in the back. I still believe that the man did this on accident, but the story is still strange. Like, the story is weird. The story is weird. Because my question was, did we miss part of the beginning of the, like, how is it that you are in the middle of an act and then it suddenly goes live? You know, it seems like if you are in this act, we would have heard like the whole beginning parts, the middle and the end. It felt like we only heard the end. Okay, so did somebody just not post the first part of the video on Instagram? But you guys see what I'm saying? It's just sort of like, how did it all of a sudden just go live? And that's what I've heard other people saying too. Yeah, and that part is like concerning. Like, how did it just go live all of a sudden and you in the act? You ain't got time to be, you know, not if you was doing shit on accident, to be actually leaning over and bumbling around with your phone, unless you're trying to turn some music on or something, and you know you might accidentally, but still then, even then, you guys. So yeah, the story is weird, But listen, he said it was an accident. ESPN believed it. Let this man keep his job, y'all. Leave him alone. Paul Pierce is working again already on another, he's on Fox, I think, now as a commentator. So all's well that ends well. Okay, everybody got a job. Everybody getting their money. But what y'all think? Y'all still think it's an accident? Y'all think that that shit was on purpose? Next story up, you guys, RayJ and Pryce. I was just like, you know, that RayJ is something special. And we knew that RayJ and Pryce was in the middle of a divorce. This time, I feel like it's really going to happen, even though they have gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I think it's been 3 times that they filed and didn't file and, unfiled and then refiled and then unfiled and refiled. Okay. This time, I think it is going to stick, because we have been seeing that RayJ felt like he has been unraveling pretty much since it happened. We've seen that Pryce tried to move on, was dating people. Remember, I told you that she was supposedly seeing John Boyega. And I think she's been trying to move on with her life and maybe trying to keep some kind of friendship going with RayJ, considering he is the father of her children. And he looked like one of them niggas that will be very difficult if you difficult. So she's probably going out of her way to try to be nice to RayJ so things can go smoothly. RayJ is and continues to be special. Apparently RayJ and Princess got into a fight the other day, an argument anyway, let him tell it, and the only reason why we know that is because he ended up going live on Instagram with his children. Okay, I don't remember how old them kids are, but them kids ain't over 10. They ain't even over, they got to be 7, 8, 6, 7, 5, 4, somewhere in there. He went on Instagram Live and was just like, hey, you can hear the kids crying in the background. And he's saying, he just wanted to get on video to let everybody know, that him and Pryce love each other, and me and mama and dad, we was not fighting. Sometimes you just disagree with each other. But I just wanted to make sure that daddy didn't hit mommy, right? No, right? And mommy didn't hit daddy, right? No, and that we love each other. And, the kids are like, you love each other, why did you do this? And the kids are crying in the background. And I was just like, why are you putting your children on social media? The shit was traumatizing enough for the kids to already have heard the fucking fighting that y'all was doing. And y'all must have been getting them up pretty good for the kids to want to call the police. Because he was like, nobody's going to call the police, right? We all okay, right? And I was like, well, what fucking kind of argument y'all doing in front of these kids where the kids feel like the police need to be called? Now, when your kids feel like the police need to be called, you're doing too fucking much. I thought that it was in poor taste for him to put them kids on there. It was like, why are you exploiting these kids like this? Why are you traumatizing these kids more like this? And why are you letting us all in on this? Because you know that Pryce might have some ammunition. Pryce might have some shit on you, and that he might eventually come out. So is this your way of trying to sway the public before we get the information from Pryce? Okay. So Princess came out later on that day and was just like, look, I have gone out of my way to try to keep things peaceful. But what you will not do is gaslight my children and get them thinking when they saw some shit with their own goddamn eyes that it didn't happen. Unlike their father, I am going to say my videos for the judge. Okay? And I was like, I know that's right, Pryce. Because the fact that he got on social media like that and posted that video, I was just like, What you done did, RayJ? What you done did over there, Ray? Because ain't no way you should have been having them kids involved in that. And then he was like, I'm leaving. And the kids was like, oh, we don't want you to go. And then, he was going to take one of them with him. And all. I was just like, I felt so bad for Princess, because I know she got to deal with a whole bunch of bullshit with RayJ. He looked like one of those ones that comes with a whole bunch of bullshit. And she dealt with it for a long time. But I guess she said no more. And more power to her. I hope that whatever it is that she needs to say to that judge to get that nigga to be acting like he got some damn sense around there with them kids, I hope that it's successful for her, because no, you should not be putting them kids on no damn social media. Them kids was crying and everything. Oh, everything's okay, right? Dad didn't hit mommy, right? And mommy didn't hit dad, right? Okay, we good, right? I just wanted to make sure everything. Why are you telling these kids this? RayJ, go somewhere, please. Honey, these men be acting out, because the next story is about some man acting out too. And what man is that, might you ask? Tyrese. Child, I feel like I'm a retired Tyrese, because I cannot. All right. But apparently Tyrese, remember last week I told you that the man was arrested because he told us that he was arrested. Remember, he told us that he was going to be arrested, and then he went to court, and then he told us that he was arrested, right? Now he comes out and tells us, no, he did not get arrested. Okay. And that instead he was detained by, I guess, the police or whatever, the bailiff or whoever that was in the courtroom, into a room while his lawyer, with her quick thinking, okay, she jumped up as soon as the judge held him in contempt of court. She jumped up, ran downstairs, and filed an appeal to that motion immediately. All right. So because she did that immediately, he did not get carted off to jail. He did not get handcuffed. None of that happened. He was just in a room by himself for a few hours, and then he was freed. I was just like, Tyrese, why are you telling us any of this? Tyrese is tiring, you guys. He is tiring, and it's interesting that he came out and said that he wasn't arrested. I was like, now, is he saying that because that's messing up his money somewhere? Because he was adamant. He wanted to be known as the martyr. He wanted to be known as the person that was going to go in there standing on business and then getting arrested. He told us that the day before he went to court, you guys. So now why we backing up off this claim? Is it because somebody done told you we ain't employing nobody that's getting arrested and shit? So now you got to make the distinction and make it clear that you wasn't? You know, Tyrese is, oh God. I just don't know how anybody could, I don't know how anybody could be with him. I just don't. And the only reason why him and this Zelly girl, is that her name, that he's with, I think that she's very young and that he is able to probably take advantage of her. Because I don't know any fucking grown woman that's going to be dealing with this shit. I mean, the girl is grown, obviously. He ain't robbing the cradle. But yeah, you guys, so Tyrese say he wasn't really arrested. He makes me incredibly sick. Lastly, you guys, we're going to have to send up a quick rest in peace to Tito Jackson. Mama named him Toriano Adderall Jackson. Had no idea that man's name was not Tito. All this time I thought his name was Tito. But yeah, you guys, we got the news yesterday that he died 70 years old, you guys. I was just like, Tito was not old enough to be dead. Not old enough to be dying. Like, we don't expect, I don't know. I just told you guys that it feels like our black men are dying younger and younger. Okay, with the exception of, like, we just had James Earl Jones, who just passed. He lived a long life, 93 years and all. But in general, it feels like these stories that we are getting about these men dying, that they're younger and younger. Like, we can't get to our 80s. We can't get to our, he just hit 70. Very, very sad. I know this has to be an extreme blow to the family, the Jackson family, because we know that they were all very close, and this was an unexpected death. Now, they haven't said how he died, but they said that a close friend of the family said that he was driving from New Mexico to Oklahoma, and that they believe that he had a heart attack while he was driving. I don't know if he was behind the wheel at the time or if he was just still on that trip. But yeah, they believe that he had a heart attack and died. And I just was like, this is awful, you guys. This is terrible. My heart was so broken, you guys. Me and my brother, we used to love the Jacksons live album. Like, I still listen to that very much in rotation to this day. It's one of my favorite live albums. I told you guys that I love, like, live music. And Tito, he was just like that quiet strength. He was the quiet strength of the brothers in the background. He was the bass player, the guitar player. He was the one that the bass player, and he held the base of the music. He was very important to the group, and everybody loved Tito because he was the quiet one. He was the one that wasn't trying to be out there like Marlon and Jermaine and Michael and all that. He was the one that was content enough to be in the background, part of the group, knowing his place, but still a very important part. And I was heartbreaking to hear that, you guys. I can't tell you how much I love the live version of Heartbreak Hotel. Okay, I can't tell you how many times me and my brother watched the video. Can you feel it? A trillion times, the long version. Okay, you guys, because there were different versions of it, but they had the long version. Remember when the kids was looking at the sun and it was coming out the rainbow and they all was looking like, you know, and they go over this way. I mean, you had to be there, you guys. The Jackson 5, I was very little when Jackson 5 was huge. Okay, they were more my older brother, my oldest brother Wayne, the one that has passed. He was part of the Jackson 5 era. But still, I heard their music very much around when I was growing up. You know, they were a group that my brothers listened to. So, and my uncle and my aunts, because they were all older. And I saw so many people yesterday just saying how much they loved Tito. People felt like he was their favorite because the fact that he was the quiet, unassuming one in the background. I even saw people feeling that he was sexy, and people that, you know, and he was a cute guy. You know, when he was younger, he was cute. They were all Jackson 5. I feel like no woman was going to try to turn away any of them when they were all at their height, you know. I know that he's a dedicated father. He has those 3 sons. They had a reality show, so we were able to get to know them. I know that they are heartbroken that they lost their father. Actually, I have a statement that they have put out. Let me read it to you guys and see if I can see it. It said, "It is with heavy hearts that we announce that our beloved father, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Tito Jackson, is no longer with us. We are shocked, saddened, and heartbroken. Our father was an incredible man who cared about everyone and their well-being. Some of you may know him as Tito Jackson from the legendary Jackson 5. Some may know him as Coach Tito, or some know him as Papa T. Nevertheless, he will be missed tremendously. It will forever be Tito time for us. Please remember to do what our father always preached, and that is love one another. We love you, Pops." Oh, you guys, that just makes me sad. I just feel so bad for them. Anyway, something about just unexpected death. You know, I always wonder which is worse. We talked about it here plenty of times, like if you're prepared for somebody that's been long-term sick, or if just one day you wake up and they die. Okay, that's what happened with my oldest brother, and it was and continues to be very much of a shock. So I know how those kids feel. You know, you just don't see this thing coming. There's no way that you can prepare for this. And my heart is just broken for them and the Jackson family. Catherine Jackson having to bury yet another child of hers. You know, it's just not the natural order of things. So very sad, you guys. But anyway, before I get too emotional with this, you guys, I'm just going to say, you know, he leaves behind a huge amount of family, friends, fans all over this world. And when I say all over this world, I mean just that exactly. He was 70 years old. Rest in peace to Tito Jackson. All right, you guys, that is it. I'm getting hot. I'm gonna have to let me turn on this air. Okay, we do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back.